Hey, this is Alpha for Shokz Video Guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Terran versus Zerg opening a 1-Rax fast expand into Widow Mines instead of Hellions, as we would have seen in Wings of Liberty. Now, since Heart of the Swarm has now come out, we're going to be, of course, fully switching over to Heart of the Swarm, and all the strategies we put out will be Heart of the Swarm strategies. But this also means that all the replays we put out will be Heart of the Swarm replays, so bear that in mind when you go to download the replays, that you will need to have Heart of the Swarm in order to watch them. So the idea of this build that we're going to be looking at today is, we saw in Wings of Liberty that for a long time Terrans against Zerg were opening up with a reactor Hellion kind of opening where they'd get 4 Hellions and they'd use them to gain some map control and maybe get a chance of roasting some drones. But then the Queen buff happened, and after that, the opening was still fairly popular in the sense that it was still viable, but it didn't really pack the punch that Terrans needed to actually put pressure on and really contain the Zerg player. So there was a bit of struggle in Terran versus Zerg where a lot of Terran players weren't really sure what to do. And now that Heart of the Swarm is out, we see that the Widow Mine actually accomplishes something a little bit different than the Hellion opening, and that is that it allows you to get into a very greedy macro position without sacrificing defense. The Widow Mines are very excellent defense. So we're going to see how that works in this game, and we're going to see that a lot of the things that Terran players were struggling with, like Roach pressures or Roach Ling all-ins or Roach Baneling all-ins, are not really that much of a problem when you have a couple of Widow Mines sitting outside your base ready to demolish any aggression. So we see that we have our 2 players here. In the bottom right corner we have the blue Terran Mashiro, who will be following for this game. That's Shokz. And in the top left, his opponent, the red Zerg Slick. And we see that Mashiro has opened up with a fairly standard, 1-Rax opening, and then it's taking a gas, only putting 2 guys on gas. So this is a little bit different than a standard, 1-Rax expansion. There we go, the 3rd guy on gas. Just a small slip up there, not a big deal. And he's also getting his 2nd command center now. So this is a very economic opening. We are not opting for any super early pressure, but we are basically trying to get an expansion up safely, and we want to get into a solid macro position.